Okay, hi. I thought it would be helpful just to show you a few of my reference books and materials. Um, there's some books that I would definitely recommend if pattern is something that you're interested in. The first would be the 20th century pattern design, which explores textile and wallpaper pioneers. There's a wealth of different patterns in here. Oh, sorry, spanning different eras, and very different styles in there. I also have these great little source books that are have been curated by the V&A, the Victoria and Albert Museum. I love mid-century textiles and fabrics. That's one of my main inspirations, really. So these little source books are fantastic. They've got all of these really interesting patterns. So great way to it's great to just refer to these and see how the experts use. Like, here's a really nice example of using some mark making to create a nice pattern there. There's some with some more like figurative motifs. And that looks like a Miro pattern, which I have also got one of his books as well. Again, here's another V&A one. This is the Heels collection. Some really cool fabrics in there, really beautiful. And you can see that a lot of like different methods have been used to create these patterns in the first place. This is like collage. This is you can see they've kind of been developed from maybe watercolor and some mark making. Some nice looks like probably created from some cutouts on repeat. That looks like more of a looks like they might have used pastels and crayons or some block, some lino cutting. There's a lot here to get your creative juices going. There's nice use of negative space. Another great reference and good for pulling out for collage materials are just home and garden magazines. Here, just actually in the shop, and there's a good example of some patterns, actually some nice tile work, which I could quite easily cut these out and use in a collage. Also, what's great about garden magazines, they come with these big full page spreads, which are, just focus on there a little bit. When you cut these up, you get some really lovely colours to work with and a bit of texture. So they're ideal for collage pieces. I have some artists that use little books that have that use pattern. Matisse is famous for his cutouts, and we'll do a little bit more of about that later. Miro, I've just seen a pattern that looked like one of his. I'm sure you're familiar with some of these artists' work, but they're nice to refer back to. Kandinsky is another one who uses a lot of abstract forms and line work. There, that's some. The intention hasn't been to make patterns per se, but that is what a lot of these works are, because they're repetitive. There's a lot of repetitive forms. And another famous one is Klimt. He uses a lot of pattern in his artworks. It just shows you the multitude of ways that repetitive forms can be used to add interest. Also, for reference, I have more garden things, but these sort of old books are really great to if you wanted to make some motifs or take inspiration from the colour palettes of nature. These are obviously, they're just from a charity shop, really cheap and expensive, but I might cut into these and create a collage with some of them, but there's some fab colours. Equally, look in your own garden for inspiration. Patrick Heron is another artist, modern artist, who uses pattern. There's a really beautiful example. I don't know if you can see the lights reflecting on that. Some lovely use of line work and mark making, repetition, to make these really lovely abstract pieces. Gorgeous. Or at least I think so. And last but not least, I'll share some links to this reference material, but if pattern is something that you're interested in, I would recommend this. Talking about pattern as a new way of seeing, where they talk about the benefits of pattern in societal change, how pattern can encourage you to think in a certain way and to problem solve. And it really encourages you to, let's see if I can find a good page for we to rest. It really just encourages you to observe in a new way and focus in on the non-places, the places that are easily forgotten, and you find all these little details. And I think for me that's why pattern has always played a big part in my life. I think by zooming in and focusing on the smaller, finer details, it helps to clear the noise, and you start to realise that in this seemingly chaotic, noisy, busy world and life that we're going through at the moment, there's order everywhere. You just look to nature, whether it's on a leaf or a flower, or you look, you take a walk and you notice that the fences, they're all in that linear structure, or there's the intentional and the non-intentional, where perhaps I'm looking in a field and there's the sheep dotted around in a nice irregular pattern on the landscape. The hay bales all wrapped up in their shiny plastic, contrasting against the natural textural backdrop of the field, but all lined up in a pattern. Tire tracks on a path, serve as a record that someone was there. It's I really, really encourage you to get outside, take a walk, both in rural environment, which is obviously pretty easy for us, and in a more urban environment, and look around, look down, notice the paving style, the pattern that the paving slabs have been laid in. Look up. Here is just to, be curious. Maybe you'll notice the window frames. How they might all be lined up in a neat row, or here's a fence grid. That's or netting, or there's pattern everywhere. So get out there, look around, and embrace a new way of seeing through pattern.